Life itself has no meaning. If it did, it would be clear. When you see a door, you know its meaning. The door can open an entrance to another space or seal it away. That is the meaning of a door. If you are not aware of it yet, eventually you will be. You just need to encounter a door. Life is like a rock, meaningless in itself. The rock just sits there doing nothing, gets pushed around every now and then, slowly deteriorates because of water and other things. Might be built back up one day into a big rock. But ultimately there is nothing there, just a rock, albeit it has no meaning. Other things can create it by interacting with the rock. For example, an ant can crawl up the rock and perhaps find a deceased worm on top of it, which could prove to be great sustenance for the ant. The rock was the place where the ant found the food. Now it is not just any other rock, it's that rock. Another example would be that of a sculptor who can create a wonderful image out of the rock. Then the rock would convey an image, and so it would have meaning. In that regard, a rock is just like life. There is a lot of potential for meaning. It could be almost anything. Most things don't have that many uses. That's probably why life isn't really a thing. It's more of a process with all kinds of potential manifesting constantly, and it adjusts to the past. Your future does depend on your past, but not only. To say it more clearly, and to make it more complex at the same time, your future depends entirely on the past of the universe. In a way, everything is predetermined, every single word I am speaking at this current moment. But because it's impossible to know all and to understand all, because your knowledge is very limited, you think that you have choices and that you have a lot of them, depending on your own past and that part of the universe, which you acknowledge as having an influence on you. In other words, the story writes itself. You don't need to do anything. But it's not pre-recorded, though I would say that it is possible to accurately predict the entire future. All you need is to know and understand everything. So, then how can life have meaning? Well, that's a good question. It can't. It can't have meaning. It cannot give life meaning. It cannot receive anything. Truly, it's as empty as nothingness, and all of existence is just a paradox. And yet we are so blessed that we cannot truly comprehend this nothingness. We cannot know and or understand all. And that is our greatest blessing. The ignorance that our imperfect bodies gladly gifts us. This imperfection is what gives meaning to our lives, because we are flawed. We get to experience what it's like to be alive, to plunge into the frenzy of existence, to suffer almost constantly in many different ways, to wholeheartedly believe that our actions truly matter, and they do. Just because it is possible to calculate the future, it does not mean that our actions have no weight. One great thing about the present is that it can be anything. It does not belong to the past nor the future, but it lasts only for a brief moment, and you cannot calculate what is happening now, because the moment you do, it disappears and turns into the past. I'd say it's as imperfect as living organisms. That's why they live in the present. It only makes sense. What does it mean to lose it all? To simply fall and not get up? To die an endless death? To live a meaningless life? To sit back and watch as your life plays itself out? What does all of it mean? That's not a very good question. It's rather complex, unorganized, and not well written. But it is still a question. What does it mean to stagnate? It's not the same as doing nothing, it's not the same as giving up, and it's different from running forward. Stagnation is putting a pause on existence, which is not possible, at least not at the time of era. You put yourself into this delusion where all life is great. No one is sad, everyone is happy, or the opposite. All is misery, but existence is not just one thing. Just because in this current moment you are truly sad or happy, it does not mean that you will be sad or happy for the rest of your life. It just means that you are something right now. And of course, not always you will be something, because not always you will be. But you have to realize that the moment has the same worth as the sum of moments. Then you will lose your sense of value, to which we all cling on to so dearly, as if it is a must. But no, we don't need value. We don't really need anything for that matter, but specifically value. We value way too much, and that in itself is not very valuable. What does this cost? What do I get from this? Why does that matter? It's obvious that you will get something out of it. Might as well just go along with it. If you don't want to stagnate, stop caring about values. You'll find that you know what everything is worth anyway. Thinking about it is pointless and causes you to pause your own existence, and that is dumb. Kas yra tiesa? Dažnai atrodo, kad tiesa yra subjektyvi. Dar dažniau, kad ji objektyvi. Mes pasirenkame vienašališkai tikėti įvairiais teiginiais. Kartais net tada, kai jiems nėra įrodymų. Kartais net tada, kai jiems yra juos paneigiančių argumentų. Tai yra gan keista, kodėl mes taip darome. Galbūt norime tvarkos pasaulyje, norime, kad viskas būtų aišku arba paaiškinta, norime gebėti suprasti tai, kas vyksta mūsų gyvenime. Tačiau tai yra labai sunku ir sudėtinga, ir atrodo nesvarbu, kas vyksta. Kažkas visada laikys tiesa tai, ką kitas laikys netiesa, ir vice versa. Dar gali būti paprasti teiginiai tiesomis. Aš manau, kad ne. Tiesa turėtų būti tai, kas yra bet kokiu atveju nenuginčiama. Tuo pat metu tiesa turi skirtis nuo fakto, skirtis kuo. Na, žiūrint kiek abstrakčiau, tiesa turi būti šviesios, tarsi geltonos spalvos. Tai turi būti šviesa, kažkas šventa. O faktas turi būti pilkas, nuobodus, neskleisti jokios šviesos. Tiesa ir faktas yra nenuginčiamai esantys. Tačiau faktas tik yra, o tiesa turi būti. Faktai reikšmės mūsų gyvenime daug neturi. Mums nelabai rūpi, kad mūsų kambario lubos baltos, kad medžių lapai žali, kad dangus yra virš mūsų ir taip toliau. Tai nėra svarbi informacija beveik bet kokiu atveju. Bet tiesa yra visiškai atvirkščias dalykas faktui šiuo atžvilgiu, nes tiesa mūsų gyvenime yra pats svarbiausias dalykas. Be tiesos gyvenimas tai yra faktas, bereikšmis. Tad tiesa kaip ir yra gyvenimo reikšmė, arba jis suteikia gyvenimui reikšmę. Visgi kyla klausimas, ar gyvenimas turi reikšmę? Jei turi, ar privalo turėti? Ar tiesa gali būti bereikšmė? Galbūt mano gyvenimas dažnai yra pilkas, nes į pirmąjį klausimą aš instinktyviai linkęs atsakyti ne. Tada gaunasi, kad į antrąjį taip pat atsakyčiau ne. Bet tada teigčiau, kad gyvenimas gali turėti reikšmę, tačiau neturi. Atsakymas į trečiąjį klausimą man atrodo labai sudėtingas. Iš pirmo žvilgsnio lyg ir regisi, kad remiantis mano ankstesniais žodžiais, atsakymas būtų ne. Tačiau man atrodo, kad tiesa nuo fakto skiriasi fundamentaliai. Jie tarpusavy nėra susiję. Todėl jausdamas norą į šį klausimą atsakyti taip, mėginu šį atsakymą pagrįsti. Tiesos pagrindas yra tvirtas. Tiesa veržiasi į viešumą, nors neturi noro būti matoma. Ji turi būti matoma, todėl veržiasi aukštyn ir platyn. Taip elgdamasi, ji tarsi vykdo savo pareigą, išgyvena savo lemtį, kuri buvo apspręsta iš anksto. Faktas nedaro nieko panašaus, apart to, kad jis yra faktas, nedaro nieko. Jis tarsi stovi kaip siena ir viskas. Galbūt todėl tiesa gali būti bereikšmė. kartais besiverždama viešumon jie atsitrenkia į nepajudinamą objektą ir toliau trankosi jį, kol galiausiai prasimuša arba miršta. Dar kilo mintis apie melą, jis gali paslėpti tiesą, vaidinti, kad pats yra tiesa. Truputėlį apibendrinant atrodo, kad yra kažkokia tiesų hierarchija, mat stipresnės tiesos gali prasimušti pro kai kurias sielas ir nenumirti. Pagalvojus apie aukščiausią tiesą, man pasidaro juokinga. Aš manau, kad visa tiesiog yra aukščiausia tiesa. Tai juokinga todėl, nes aš manau, kad tas pats teiginys yra faktas. Galbūt aukščiausia tiesa tokia didi, kad ji pati yra siena visoms kitoms tiesoms. Ir būtent todėl užima aukščiausią vietą tiesų hierarchijoje. If I could die right now, I think I would. Įdomu, ką tai pasako apie mane. Galbūt, kad aš nekenčiu gyvenimo. Maybe that I feel reasonless and empty, bevertis ir beprasmis. Galbūt, bet tai nėra man labai svarbu. Ak, taip, man nesvarbu. Bet kaip padaryti, kad būtų? Šito aš nežinau. Jei žinočiau, turbūt ne tik nepasirinkčiau numirti, bet ir gyvenčiau kitaip. Žmonės šaudo fejerverkus už lango ir taip gražu, bet to jau atsidaręs balkoną, aš užtvindžiau savo kambarį fejerverkų paliktais dūmais. Nė gryno oro per juos negalėjau užuosti, gal tokio mieste nėra. Siekti žmoniškumo. Turiu pripažinti, tai neskamba smagiai. Ir galbūt tai sakau vien todėl, kad išvengčiau žmoniškumo siekimo, net nežinau, kaip turėčiau siekti to žmoniškumo. Be to, visa tai gali būti nesąmonė. Lyg ir netikėtina, bet juk skamba gražiai. Galbūt todėl ir yra nesąmonė, bet ne. Ir taip aišku, kad net į pasaulis ir neturi prasmės, kurios be abejo neturi, žmoniškumo siekimas yra sąmonė. Lyg ir nieko geriau už tai nėra, o jei yra, kol kas mes to nematome, arba bent jau nematau aš, kad ir kas tas aš bebūčiau. Keista būtų, jei iš maždaug 900 puslapių filosofijos te gavau naują perspektyvą į save. Žinoma, neabejotinai gavau daugiau, tikiuosi, šiaip kaip galėčiau tai žinoti. Tik tai nėra taip akivaizdu, kaip kad mintis, jog aš nesu aš, bet tik dvasia siela, arba žmoniškumas, arba žmogus. Tuo pat metu, ar tikrai aš galiu būti tik siela, jei dabar mano kūnas rašo žodžius? Juk rašau ne aš, rašo kūnas. Ir kas tada yra tas kamiškasis būvis, geismai ir troškimai? Argi aš nesu kūno, geismų ir sielos suma? Vardas, Klaudijus. Na, tam tikra prasme ir taip ir ne. Dar įdomu, kaip tada veikia žmogus. Net nežinau, kaip apibūdinti tiksliai, jei žmogus yra ir siela. Žodžiu, ar gali būti dvi sielos vienam kūne? Gali būti daug geismų, daug troškimų, daugiau nei vienas. Tad galbūt ir daugiau nei viena siela. Bet ką tai tada reikštų? Kad yra daugiau nei vienas dievas? Tada turbūt negali būti kelių sielų vienam kūne. Bet kągi tada reikštų persona, kuri turi du vardus? Vienu metu jį turėjo vieną vardą, dabar turi kitą. Naujoji neatsimena nieko apie buvusį vardą. Ką tai reiškia? Skirtingos asmenybių krūvos. Žemė, žmonių pasaulis ir dangus. Kūnas, geismai, troškimai ir siela. Viskas čia labai paprasta ir neapsakomai sudėtinga. Kas aš? Na, kas esu aš, vis dar neaišku. Tiesą pasakius, labai mažai kas iš tiesų aišku. Nors gal iš tiesų niekas neaišku, bet tik gal. I want my identity to be the absence of identity. But I fear that it might be the one single thing that is truly impossible. If you cater to the strong, they grow strong. If you cater to the weak, they become the strong. Those who have a lot will get even more. Those who have little will have even more stripped away from them. The strong, to stay strong, have to take from the weak. The stronger the strong are, the more they have to take. The more they take, the weaker the weak become. Eventually the weak will perish, and once that happens, so will the strong, for they will have nothing left to take. The strong will grow weak, and so they will lose everything. Sanity is my insanity. People go insane to become sane. And that's that. Misery has stopped being in my life. I've not seen it for a long time now. In a certain sense, I do miss it. Feels like I need to be able to see what other people see. In truth, you could probably say that I find misery in not being able to understand other people. That's not really the case. I can understand them. It's not difficult. What I cannot fathom is myself. I guess it makes sense too. Fire can't burn itself. The air can't breathe itself. The eye cannot see itself. And I, the one who understands others, cannot understand myself. That is why I am a clown. I try to grasp what I mean while knowing that that is not something that is possible for me to do. Then again, even though I claim to understand others, by that same logic, I cannot even do that. So I appear to be even more of a clown than I initially thought. How fascinating. But I'm not sure. Maybe misery is not the only thing that has ceased to exist for me. Feels like with each passing day I detach more and more from the whole caring thing, but not in the Sigma male grinds at the type way, or the I'm so sad kind of way. I think I'm slowly developing a kind of freedom. I'm slowly chipping away at the chains of I care what other people think about me. But it feels weird. It feels like I'm losing touch with what is supposedly real and fake simultaneously. It's like I'm so detached that I'm not even there. But I am, and I participate. But to me it means nothing in the most apathetic way possible, meaning that it does mean something to me, but I do not treat it as a part of me. Or at least I do not cling to it in any way, shape, or form. My emotions, for example, they come to me and I realize that they are there. Then I give them my body and I see what they do with it. It's like I get to learn about them as separate entities this way, because I can clearly see what I did under their influence, or rather what they did. Right now I'm realizing that they are nothing more than my allies, so that's nice. Think if I will manage to tolerate anger as an emotion, I will change as a whole, so that's pretty exciting. It's always nice to change every now and then. What does it mean to be free? Sounds like something a naive person would say. I'm free. Yeah, right, I bet you are, dumbass. In what way are any of us free? Because we get to choose? I guess you could call that freedom. Nonetheless, we are forced to choose, and that force crushes any argument for the existence of freedom. For it does not exist. First, we don't exist. We don't choose to not exist. We can't even choose at the moment of not existing. Then, once we do exist, once we are born, we still don't have any freedom. We were brought into life, into existence. We did not bring ourselves into it. And we are born with predetermined characteristics which ultimately define us and choose our choices for us, out of the ones we are given. It's all there before we are even there. There is no freedom in life, it just feels as if there is. It's a story that has been already written and is now being read. If we were smart enough to calculate everything, we'd know, but we aren't, so we won't. And depending on the existence of a fact that something can appear out of nothing, we will never be smart enough to have proof valid enough to expose the pointlessness of the world. All that we have left is belief in this equation. We need belief because we lack the intellect to see the truth. We can only believe in it. I cannot kill myself because I am already dead. But there is another who is alive. The problem I have with him is exactly that. He is alive. I assume he thinks likewise. Since I am dead, I hold no power over that which is alive. But to truly die, I need that other to stop living as well. It appears we are both parts of one being. It does not make sense if you think about it, but it is so. All I can do is wait. I feel indifferent about it. But even so, being a part of the being that I am a part of, I can't help but feel at least a little bit of what the one who is alive feels. I find it annoying. Because of it, even though I am dead, I want to die. Because of that, the one who is alive feels even more. It's an endless cycle, and I truly despise it with all of my being. A cycle which the one who is alive seems to enjoy so much. I think it's time to ignore my principles. I want to lie, steal, and do other crimes. Of course, I won't go as far as murder and whatnot, but I want to be untrustworthy. You shouldn't trust a clown. And if I am to be a clown, I think I should not have any petty morals. I should not fear true evil. I think I should explore it with one of my feet. I guess my true crime will be my... What does it mean to be evil? What does evil mean? What is evil? I do not know. There is the universe, and I suppose I am to split it into good and evil. A third part could be considered a mix of the two, but there is no need for that. I think to answer the question of what is evil, I could think about what is good in hopes that it is easier to think about. But in truth, it's probably just as difficult. What could be good? The act of giving a gift. Providing help? To whom? Giving a gift to whom? No, just giving itself cannot be good, because you can give to someone who is evil, in other words, evil itself. By doing so, one would assume you'd be making evil stronger. But if not, then giving does have the potential to be an act of good. Anyway, I look at it, I think that evil and good depends on the subjective view. I don't think that objectively anything is either good nor evil, it just is, so then evil and good aren't parts of the universe. These two concepts are concepts, but not only, are the two fundamental views which we rely on to understand what is beneficial and what is detrimental to specifically any given point in the universe from that point's own point of view, or center. Then evil is all that is negative, judging by the points of view, and good is all that is positive in that same regard. Ultimately, it's the two ends of the spectrum, or points of a circle. The best way to put it probably is this: yin and yang. An intertwined duality, and evil is a part of it. I don't think I can say any more about evil, because everything else would be subjective. Well, but who is to say that everything I've said up to now is not subjective?